3 weeks after Thanos used the Infinity Stones to disintegrate half of all life across the universe, Carol Danvers rescues Nebula and Tony Stark from deep space. They return to Earth and join the remaining Avengers: Natasha Romanoff, Bruce Banner, Steve Rogers, Rocket, Thor, Pepper Potts, and James Rhodes. They find the now injured Thanos, so they can take the Infinity Stones and reverse his actions, but he has already destroyed them to prevent further use. Thor decapitates Thanos. Years later, Scott Lang escapes from the quantum realm and finds Romanoff and Rogers at the Avengers compound. Only 5 hours have passed for Lang instead of years, and he theorizes that the quantum realm can allow time travel. The three propose to Stark, now raising a daughter, Morgan, that they retrieve the Infinity Stones from the past and use them to revert Thanos' actions in the present. Stark rejects them out of fear of losing Morgan, but relents after reflecting upon the disintegrated Peter Parker. Stark designs a device to stabilize time travel. Romanoff finds Clint Barton, who has become a ruthless vigilante following the disintegration of his family, and he returns to the compound with her. The United Avengers split into several groups for their mission. Banner, Rogers, Lang, and Stark travel to New York City in 2012. Banner visits the Sanctum Sanctorum and convinces the Ancient One to give him the Time Stone. She warns him of the consequences of removing the Infinity Stones from the past, and Banner promises to return them. Rogers overcomes undercover Hydra agents and his 2012 self to retrieve the Mind Stone, but Lang and Stark's attempt to steal the Space Stone fails and Loki escapes with it. Rogers and Stark use the last of their size-altering PIM particles to travel to the U.S. Army's Camp Lehigh in 1970. They steal an earlier version of the Space Stone there, as well as vials of PIM particles from Hank Pym, so they can return to the present. Rocket and Thor travel to Asgard in 2013 to retrieve the Reality Stone from Jane Foster, and Thor obtains his former hammer, Mjolnir. Barton and Romanoff travel to Vormir in 2014 and learn from the Soul Stone's keeper, the Red Skull, that it can only be retrieved by sacrificing someone they love. After a brief struggle, Romanoff sacrifices herself so that Barton can be reunited with his family. On Maragon the same year, Nebula and Rhodes steal the Power Stone before Peter Quill can. Rhodes returns to the present with the Power Stone, but Nebula is unable to after her cybernetic implants interface with those of her 2014 self. Through this connection, the Thanos of that time learns of present-day events and sends the 2014 version of Nebula to the present. With all the Infinity Stones collected, Banner uses them to restore everyone that Thanos disintegrated. The 2014 Nebula uses the time machine to transport Thanos and his ship to the present day, and he attacks the Avengers compound. Rogers, Thor, and Stark confront Thanos, and Rogers proves worthy to wield Mjolnir. However, they are no match for Thanos. He overpowers all of them and summons his army to lay siege to Earth. Present-day Nebula convinces a 2014 version of her sister Gamora to turn on Thanos, and kills the 2014 version of herself. After being restored, Stephen Strange transports all the other Avengers allies who have been restored, along with his fellow sorcerers and the armies of Asgard and Wakanda, to the compound to fight Thanos and his army. During the battle, Stark retrieves and activates the Infinity Stones, disintegrating Thanos and his army. Stark dies as a result of using the stones. Following a funeral for Stark, Thor appoints Valkyrie as the Queen of New Asgard and joins the Guardians of the Galaxy. Rogers returns the Infinity Stones and Mjolnir to their original places in time before reuniting with Peggy Carter in the past to live out the rest of his life. In the present, an elderly Rogers passes his shield to Sam Wilson,